Hey, everybody, new topic. Dave Nelson from Norton on your efforts to go out to Best Buy with our products. We are raising the competition here and we're taking off the gloves a little bit. We are talking about what you're going to run into out in these stores with the existing products. Now, I put competition in quotes here. We don't really think that they're at parity, but you guys can be the judge of that as we go through this information. So speaking of parity, I had this slide in my first video. This one just shows how PC Magazine compared us, actually had us advantageously positioned. But for those of you that are really geeks, we dug in a little farther. So here's our entire comparison of the products. And you see they're all three devices, but that's about the only place that they're really at parity. We have 50 gigs of storage, which is very important for virus and ransomware protection. Webroot has some interesting rollback technology, kind of sandbox technology, also doesn't have a full firewall. Trend Micro has neither. But the funny thing about this is you can study this chart, but here, in my opinion, is why the previous screen isn't going to matter as much as you think. Peter Drucker is a father of modern management practices, and one of his great sayings was culture eats strategy for breakfast. So I just want to make you aware of the culture that you're walking into. You're probably all very familiar with it because you work on these floors. But this will be far more a culture war and far less about features, I think. Best Buy blue shirts have been selling against Norton for a good number of years. I've seen it. I've talked to the folks on the floor. And they will run into biases, you will. So be prepared for that. Facts alone, if you know, are not enough to combat or to counter culture a lot of times. Culture is very strong. And evangelism may play a role in your effort. So that's why everybody watching this, believe you're entitled to Norton product plus the IDA feature. Get it installed for yourself so you can see it. You can see how it works. But speaking of culture, here's a culture war example. This is from Best Buy's website. Which of those products is not a part of the attach program? Well, McAfee is not a part, but somehow they weaseled their way into this picture. So culture plays at all levels. First good news for you. There are 3 attached products, but you'll really only be competing against Webroot. The picture I have here is from the floor, where you can see the Webroot hanger racks are empty and the Trend Micro are all full. So obviously the lion's share is going to Webroot. It's what you run up against most times. Also, some good news for you. You are representing the best cyber safety offering for Best Buy and their customers. In fact, I went to a US government website and looked this up. Here is the cyber safety definition. And you'll notice it talks about cyber criminals and identity theft and fraud and harassment and all of these things that people are now exposed to. The bottom line is it's not just security anymore. I keep saying this, but you want to drill this home. It's really about their overall cyber safety, their identity protection, their privacy. That's what we're really going against to compete here. Now, what are some of the things you'll likely hear? This is a lot of times from the Webroot side, but it's great. You hear that they're cloud-based. Well, we all use the cloud. It's how we distribute updates. It's how we do all that. The funny thing is they can't be completely cloud-based because what happens if you're not connected? What if I'm on a plane and I open up a file that was transferred to my email and it's infected somehow? So I'm going to have some sort of local service that's running that will counteract any kind of thing when I'm disconnected. And also you'll hear, oh, there's better performance. Norton is very, very well-versed and very well tested in performance. Matter of fact, quite honestly, it's funny to get a comment about performance from a company who hasn't tested or been evaluated by the industry standard AV test organization for over 3 years. This is, I'll show you, this is, can't move around. This is the website I drew this from, but Webroot has not tested against the AV test website for over 3 years. Pretty interesting. So here's a final point, very positive one. If you want to talk about culture change, talk about how we're changing the threat landscape here. This is a virus that was written a few years back that was a ransomware virus. And what you're seeing here is that attackers or hackers will actively avoid Norton because of our position in the industry and our breadth of coverage. So the code you see here, this code actually says if they're running Norton, then don't run the virus on this machine. So we're actually skipping the threat of these guys because of our presence and our position in the industry. It's something to really consider why going with a very highly rated brand is beneficial. So carry that in your back pocket as well. So I hope this is just giving you a few things to consider competitively. Good luck out there. It's a competitive environment, but you're dealing with the best product, and I know you guys are all sharp. So good luck to it. We'll talk to you on the next video. Bye-bye.